You just got your first loan signing appointment. You're probably excited and nervous and wondering, okay, what do I actually do? In this video, I'm walking you through your first signing from the moment you receive the order until you drop the documents off. Hi, I'm Valerie. I've been a loan signing agent since 2020. In this channel, I help aspiring and new loan signing agents build a profitable loan signing agent business. So I'm going to talk about how I felt on my very first loan signing. If you haven't seen that video, check it out because I think it's called My First Signing. I'll tell you the whole story there. But nonetheless, I'm going to try to abbreviate it here. I was extremely nervous. I was excited. I had so many different feelings, okay, guys? I literally got sick to my stomach, but I eventually got through it. I have so many advice to give you guys about your first signing, okay? So I received the order, okay? I think I signed up for a bunch of signing services once I had everything ready. I had all my supplies, I had my paper, my pens, my stamp, everything. So I signed up for a lot of signing services, okay? And I'm not gonna lie, I was receiving requests very quickly. I think it took about a week or two or less. I was receiving a bunch of texts, okay? I was scared to accept my first signing. This was during COVID, it was extremely busy, all right? Until eventually I did. And I got through it. It was a refinance. It was 5 minutes away from my house. I think the pay was $125 or so. But what I liked and I advise to you is it wasn't a same day appointment. I think it was like a next day appointment, if I'm correct. So it gave me time to calmly print out my documents and prepare for the signing, and that's what I advise you guys to do. Okay, so let me walk you guys through from the moment you receive the signing order, what to look out for. Okay, I'm giving you a lot of tips on this video. So you receive the signing request by text, let's say, okay, because 90% of the requests you're going to receive them by text. All right. You're going to review the fee. Okay, how much are they going to pay me? The appointment time, the location, which is the address, the package. Is it a refinance, seller documents, loan modification, buyer? And most importantly, you're going to review the date and the time. I don't know why it doesn't say that here in my notes, but you have to know the date and the time, the address, the package type, and you're going to look for signing instructions before accepting. Okay, so these special instructions, they might say, okay, a witness is needed. Instead of signing or filling out the documents with blue ink, we want black ink. These are examples, okay, guys? Because usually we're always using blue ink, but like a very small percentage, I would say 5 to 10%, you know, sometimes they request black ink instead of blue. So these are different things you have to look out for. They might give you special instructions, initial here, sign here, have them fill this out, pick up a check, collect a voided check from them, etc. You have to read the special instructions, okay? Those are very important because if you miss anything from that, they can reduce your fee and they might not use you again, okay? So we got that. That's number one, okay? Then, actually that's number two. We're going to 3. Tip number 3. You're going to confirm your appointment. So you're going to call or text the signer and you're going to introduce yourself professionally. Me, I personally like to document everything. I sent them a text because a lot of times, to be honest with you, I call the signers, they never pick up the phone because they don't recognize my number and they think that my number is spam. I'm sure that you guys go through the same thing. So I don't know, you receive calls from unknown numbers you don't pick up. So I always send a text message, okay? And I have a copy paste that I just fill in the date, the time, and the address. That's all I change. So I can't do it. I can't read it now, but basically it's a copy paste. Hi, I'm Valerie. I'm your notary public loan signing agent. I'm calling for such and such person to confirm the appointment for this date, this time. this address so they can verify and make sure that's correct. And then I say, can you please make sure that you have a clean table, that you have 2 IDs available at the moment of the appointment that are not expired. So I'm basically giving them all the information before I even get there, so they can make sure they have all of these things before I get there. Please make sure you set aside about an hour to honor the appointment so we could finish on time and we're not rushing, that we're in a clean table, that it's well lit. Let me know please if it's a vacant house or apartment, or if you're in the moving process and you're unable to provide a clean table and chairs for us to sit comfortably and sign. Let me know ahead of time so we can meet up at a Starbucks, a Panera Bread, or McDonald's, or somewhere else, where it's more suitable to sign. I set my expectations ahead of time because from my experience in the 6.5 years that I've been doing this, I have come across so many different situations that I try to avoid ahead of time, okay? So I set the expectation by a written text. They read it, okay? And they say yes or no. I love this for me, and I advise you do it too, because it's a copy paste that I have in my notes, okay? That way you're letting them know they need to have 2 forms of a valid ID. It cannot be expired, just in case they have an expired ID. You're letting them know, I want to come to your house. I'm a professional. I want to sit down in a clean atmosphere that's well lit. There's chairs and a clean table. And I'm only telling you guys this because I have been to houses where it's a hot mess, guys. Like, there's probably a table, but it has a bunch of junk on top of it, and they're not prepared for the signing, and there's like not a clean, good area for us to sign in. And it's just, in my opinion, it's unprofessional from their end too, because these documents have to be protected. You need to turn them in clean, and if the table is dirty, that can affect, they could probably reduce your fee. You have to turn them in order, clean, and signed and filled out correctly. So I set the expectation, way ahead of time. That's how I do it, okay? I went into a tangent there, guys, but I'm telling you, if you practice this and you do this, you will avoid so many uncomfortable situations, and it's just the best thing, okay? So I send them that text. They always reply yes or no. If they don't have, any of those expectations that I'm setting available, they say, hey, guess what? Let's just meet up at a Panera or a Starbucks. And I say, perfect, send me the address, and then we go over there. Okay, so I introduce myself professionally. It's up to you. You could send them the text, or you could call them and tell them everything that I just told you guys. Is up to you. All right, so you're gonna confirm the time, the date, the location, and the hiring party. Okay, we're always third party. Okay, you're gonna download and print the documents. Very important. Check the page size. Make sure that your printer is a dual tray LaserJet printer. If you cannot get one for whatever reason, you're gonna have to go through a longer process to switch out the papers, between letter and legal, and that's gonna take you longer. Okay, point being, once you print out your documents, you have to check them and make sure that they're not cut off, meaning that they all printed correctly. Okay, so if there are any legal size papers in that PDF, they have to print correctly in legal size, and you don't see any words cut off, because they will reduce your fee and they will probably not use you again. All right, so that's very important. Letter and legal paper when required. Print signer and return copies as instructed. This is what I do. A lot of these companies will tell you off the bat, make sure you print copies for the signer. You do it. No questions asked, because that's what they're asking, okay? Sometimes if it's a big package, I tell them, would you prefer a signed copy or a physical blank copy, which one do you prefer? I ask them ahead of time. And a lot of times I will ask the title company or the signing service that hired me, hey, they would like a signed physical copy aside from the blank copy, because that's what they want. You know, some people want an actual signed copy, and that's the only way that they could receive it, is that once the title company or the lender receives the paperwork, they make copies of it and then they mail them to the signers physically to their home. Okay, so yeah, just very important. Make sure you give them copies for their review before leaving. In the beginning, you're going to triple, quadruple check the paperwork. As soon as you're done signing, you're gonna take your time. Okay, I recommend using sticky tabs. I think I said this in one of my previous videos too. When I first started, I ordered the sticky tabs that says sign here, stamp here, initial here. It helps so much. It's gonna take you time to prepare it, guys, depending on how big the package is. But in the beginning, it's worth it. I think I used it 5 times, less than a dozen times. Okay. The more I did it, I started to become more comfortable. And then I said, okay, I don't need the labels, the sticky labels anymore. But it helps so much to prevent you from forgetting an initial, a date, a stamp, you know, whatever. Once you're done with the appointment, you could order them in Amazon. They're super cheap, guys, and you could reuse them. Okay, but I definitely recommend you use the sticky tabs in the beginning until you feel comfortable and you don't use them anymore. Okay, once you're done with the signing, right there where you're sitting, you're gonna say, thank you so much, we're done with the signing. Just give me 5 minutes to double check the paperwork to make sure that I didn't miss anything, meaning a signature, an initial, or whatever. A lot of times they're gonna tell you, sure, go ahead, take your time, because they want their paperwork filled out correctly. And what happens is, if you miss an initial, if you miss a signature, you're gonna have to go back to that appointment, okay? Or even if you turn in the paperwork like that with a missing whatever, the signing service or the title company that hired you, when they receive the paperwork, whether by scanbacks or physically, they're going to ask you to go back to the signing and make the correction. And guess what? You're not going to get paid for it. The second trip, it was your mistake. You're not going to get paid for it. So you're going to try your best to triple, quadruple check your work to avoid that from happening. Okay, so in the beginning, I advise you check the paperwork at the table in their home. You check it, take your time. If you want to check it twice, do it. Okay, when you go in the car and you mark the signing complete, okay, I think I might be getting ahead of myself here, but I'm just telling you guys how I did it in the beginning. You're going to check the paperwork again when you're in front of their house in your car. Take your time and check it, okay? If you have to do scan backs and you're like, okay, everything is good, I didn't miss anything, while you're scanning the documents, you can be checking each page while it's scanning on your laptop. That's what I do till this day. I'm looking at everything. Am I missing a stamp? You know, are the dates correct while the paperwork is scanning? Okay, before you ship it, when it's time, usually once you scan it in the beginning, the signing service or the title company is going to check the paperwork usually, but you can't always depend on this. They're gonna go over it to make sure everything is good. They're gonna do a quality check. They're gonna check for missing signatures, initials, dates, etc. If you're good, perfect. You know, sometimes they'll tell you okay to drop, other times they won't. If you want to be sure in the beginning, I would email them or call them and be like, hey, did you check the scans? I just want to make sure everything is good. This is what I would do in the beginning before I drop them off. Yes, either way, the fourth quality check before you ship the documents, before you seal that FedEx shipping envelope, check them again. Check them 3 to 4 times before shipping to make sure you didn't miss anything. This is what I would do in the beginning. Nowadays, I check my paperwork minimum 2 times at the table. Okay, I check it. And if it's a lot of paperwork and I had a stressful day or whatever, I will check it again before shipping it. You know, it all depends on how I'm feeling. Okay, but you could never check the paperwork too many times. Okay, so you're gonna scan the package for notarizations, signature areas, initials, and special instructions. Okay, you're going to have your supplies ready before you even accept the signing, guys. You have to have everything. Obviously, you have to have a cell phone with a hotspot. You have to have your laptop. You have to have your mobile scanner that you're going to carry with you in your car to scan documents within 2 hours. And you have to have a printer. You can have the printer at home like me, or you could have it set up in your car. That's a whole nother different topic and video. All right, but you have to have those things. Obviously, you have to have your journal, your stamp, etc. You have to have your supplies ready before you accept the signing. All right, so when you arrive to the appointment, another caveat: dress professional. Don't wear sneakers. If you're a guy, don't wear gym pants, joggers, t-shirts. Come on, you know, for a guy it's so easy. You could wear a polo with a collar, a button up. You don't have to necessarily wear a suit, but look decent. Look, basically is business casual, like when you're in corporate. Okay, don't wear open toe shoes. In my opinion, I don't. I wear, what do you call those? I wear the slides, but they're closed toe, the ballet shoes. I wear a lot of those, or very low heel. I only wear heels when I'm going into the office, to be honest, but I do wear a lot of ballet shoes with jeans, with slacks. I love button-ups. I wear a lot of jeans with button-up. I only initially wear, for the most part, a blazer, a skirt, you know, or I dress up, like really dress up is when I'm going to the title company. But yeah, dress business casual, okay? Don't wear spaghetti strap shirts showing your back, you know, and too much skin. There's so many ways. If you don't have an idea, you could go on Pinterest and put business casual and you'll see a visual of how to dress professional, okay? Your appearance matters a lot. You're going to introduce yourself professionally too. So you show up, they open the door, you say, "Hi, I'm Valerie, your notary, your loan signing agent. Nice to meet you," whatever. They're gonna let you in the door. And when you sit down, you say, "Okay, I'm gonna be your loan signing agent. My job," I always say this, "my job is to verify your ID and to make sure that we fill out this paperwork correctly. I'm helping you. I'm gonna give you a brief description of what you're signing, okay? And I'm gonna walk you through the paperwork to make sure you sign, date, and initial it correctly. If you have any detailed questions, especially as to the numbers, you know, if you're not happy with anything, we have to call your loan officer, okay? And they say yes, okay, you know, whatever. And we start, you know, we get the appointment started, all right? So you're gonna verify. That's the first thing you do before you even start with the paperwork. You verify their identification. You're not only checking that their license or ID to make sure it's not expired. If it's expired, you cannot accept it. You have to call the title company, the signing service, whoever hired you immediately and let them know, okay? If they misspelled a name, you need to call them immediately and let them know. Their names are not matching their ID, okay? Because that is a problem, okay? What else? That is our job. That's why they pay you the big bucks, a lot of money, to pay attention to detail, okay? You're gonna follow applicable notarial requirements. So you're gonna, just make sure that the notarial part where you're gonna notarize, you are yourself putting the correct date and filling it out correctly, and you're not missing a signature or expiration date or whatever, okay? So during the signing, this is tip number 7, you're gonna guide the signer through the documents within your permitted role. I let them know before we even get started. My job is to give you a brief description of what you're signing. If you have any detailed questions, We have to contact the loan officer because by law, I cannot answer those questions because I am not a lawyer. Okay, simple. That's what I let them know. Okay, and do not give legal or financial advice. There you go. We're not lawyers. We could get sued, God forbid. But that's why we have errors and omissions insurance independently, to prevent any of these situations. I've never had an issue, thank God, since I started. So if they have a question outside of your role, contact the appropriate party, which is the loan officer, signing service, title company, whoever hired you. Before you leave, check everything. I told you guys, check it 3 to 4 times. Check it, take your time. It's better to triple, quadruple check than to having to go back to that house and not get paid for your second trip. Okay, so signatures, dates, and initials, and notarization and missed pages. We have to avoid all of that by any cost. Okay, you have to make sure that every signature is there, every date is dated correctly. You know what I use? A little caveat. I got like a little board. I wish I could show it to you guys. It's not close to me, but it's just a little board, that I bought at Walmart for like $1 and change. It was on sale. It's little. It's like this, and with a marker, I put the date. So that way I place it on the table and they're always looking at the date. So it's impossible for them to get the date incorrect, okay? And it helps us too, all right? So yeah, the dates have to be correct, the initials, our notarizations, and everything. So we need to check all of that. Scan backs if required. You have to read the instructions. 90% of the documents of these signings require you to scan them back. So you have to scan them back within 2 hours for the most part. As soon as you're done with the appointment, you're not gonna jump and go to another appointment and not send scans. I'm telling you, please do not do that. Go in your car, finish the first appointment first, the signing, scan them, send them, upload them, to the platform, or email them to whatever party that hired you, and then head out to the next appointment. Okay, the order. Yeah, so follow the order instructions before shipping and drop off. So once you scan these documents, a lot of times they're gonna say, do not drop off these documents until we do not tell you that you passed the quality check. Okay, other times they'll tell you, don't wait on us, drop the documents off. Either way, I always recommend, and I repeat it, triple check the paperwork before you ship it. Make sure that you didn't miss anything and you ship it, okay? And make sure you pay attention to them. Do you need their okay before dropping them off? Yes or no? Okay, so you're gonna have to have a checklist, for you to go by so you won't miss anything, okay? In the beginning, and you'll get the hang of how all of this works, okay? So you're gonna follow the instructions and then you're gonna drop the package off, okay? You're gonna go to a FedEx or UPS as instructed. A lot of these signing services do not permit for you to drop these off at a local FedEx that's in a dollar store, that's in Walgreens. No, they want you to go to an actual FedEx office and print, a UPS, where they hand you a receipt. You're gonna drop off the document, or there's a self-serve part that you can do. But the point is, you need to get a physical receipt so you could take a picture of it and send it to the hiring company to let them know that you shipped the document. That is going to be what saves you, because God forbid those documents get lost. Who knows? They could get damaged. You never know, guys, but you have proof that you shipped them and you did your part, okay? And you're gonna make sure that they're sealed, correctly and everything. But you have to KYA. Is it KYA? CYA, sorry. CYA, you know what that means. Cover your behind. So you're gonna update the order as complete, all right? So you're gonna say, okay, the signing is complete, I'm done. So follow the signing service and title company's instructions. That is number one, what I keep repeating, okay? And your first signing, guys, is gonna be so intimidating. You're going to be scared out of your mind. I was scared, I was nervous, I was excited, but you know what? Once I walked out that door, 2 hours later, refinance took me 2 hours. There's no shame in me saying that, but hey, it is what it is. Now a refinance takes me anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes max, depending on the paperwork, depending on the person that's signing, whatever. My point being is that the more you do, you're gonna get better at it. You know, the more you continue to go to these appointments, you're gonna build your confidence. It's like going to the gym. You're going to the gym, you're like, man, I'm not seeing any results. A month pass, 2 months pass, and you're like, what is going on? Then after 3 months, you're like, wow, okay, 12 weeks. I've been hitting the gym 3 to 4 times a week. Now I'm starting to see some results. Okay, so it's like working out your muscle, okay? Each appointment is gonna make you feel more confident and you're gonna gain more experience, okay? But you have to get your feet wet. You have to be brave enough and confident enough to take the first step, all right? And I think that's pretty much it, guys. So your goal on your first signing isn't to know everything. You're not gonna know everything. I still don't know everything, and I've been doing this for almost 7 years, okay? Your goal is to be prepared, okay? Follow instructions, protect the integrity of the documents, and get that package back correctly. Check it as many times as you need to check it. Just make sure that it's correct. Every signing after that builds your confidence. Okay, if you're preparing your first signing, don't forget to download my digital blueprint, my LSA blueprint, okay? That will give you so much information regarding the notary and loan signing agent business. And don't forget to subscribe, okay? And watch the playlist. I have a lot of playlists from the beginner LSAs to LSA fundamentals, okay? Watch the playlist. Is a lot of important information on there. If you're interested in the business, this will be perfect for you, all right? So yeah, I have more videos coming that will walk you through this entire business, and I can't wait to share them with you guys. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching. Until the next one, bye.